Allison, thanks for coming in today. I just got a few questions for you. So, there are a couple of things that really drive me nuts about health insurance plans. The first is cost. I'm a racquetball manufacturer, and my premiums bounce around more than these P57s. So, is what you're proposing going to save me and my employees money?
Stanley, thank you so much for inviting me to meet with you. And I hear you, you're not alone. One of the major pluses of the employer public option is that it would save you money and the hassle of having to worry about healthcare prices increasing in the future. If today you pay for 85% of your employees' healthcare costs, you would do the same under the employer public option, but it would be 85% of a smaller number because it would be based on Medicare rates, which are half of what you pay today. Even if the employer public option paid 1.5 times Medicare rates, you'd still save money on every item and service that your employees use. And Medicare has controlled healthcare cost growth, so there wouldn't be surprises for you in the future. Now, for your employees, it could also cost them considerably less. If you could imagine the ACA style subsidies rolled up into the employer public options, it would mean that some of your lower income employees who have struggled to be able to join your health plan would be able to do so under the employer public option at no cost to you.
Well, that's some good news for my folks. But another thing they're really concerned about is choice. Every time I make even the smallest change to our health insurance, my workers start sweating more than I do on the court. Is their doctor going to be in network? Things like that. Allison, what kind of options are my workers going to have?
Yeah, Stanley, let me first just mention one thing about choice for you, which is that the plan is voluntary for you, which means that if you think it's good for your business, good for your employees, you can choose it or not if you don't, just like you choose whether to send packages via USPS or FedEx. Now, for your employees, we think that it increases choice in the dimension that matters most to them, where they can go for care. The employer public option would benefit from Medicare's vast network, and your employees in turn would benefit as well from the vast network of doctors and hospitals, any of whom they could go to for care.
Now, Allison, I didn't start this company 20 years ago to get into the health insurance business. Yet here I am juggling, premiums, plans, all the rest. Is what you're pitching me any simpler?
Absolutely. You would be freed up from that annual process of having to look at and compare different choices among health plan options. You would just re-enroll your employees in the employer public option if you're happy with it. And for your employees as well, they wouldn't have to wade through this complex maze of health plan choices every year that probably don't make any sense to them. Also, for them, it means that if your employees leave the job with you, there are a couple of ways that they could take their health benefits with them. They could take it if there were an individual public option, or if they moved to another employer who also offers the employer public option, which would make their job transitions simpler over time.
Well, this all sounds great, but I gotta say, Allison, no one has ever served me up an ace of a health insurance plan. So, what's a downside that I should be thinking about here?
Yeah, one downside for you is that you wouldn't retain control over the details of the plan. I know you've worked really hard to customize benefit for your employees. They're athletic, they want access to the best sports medicine services, and you've really provided a fancy plan for them. And they might not get all of that through the employer public option. So you'd have to either manage that transition for them, or you could top off the benefits and provide that for them in addition to the employer public option. Either way, over time, we're pretty confident that your employees and you will love this plan once you get to know it.
Well, you've given me a lot to think about today, Allison. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat.
Thank you for inviting me.